And slowly open your eyes.
Where comes the exigence from? And how to move through?
You know, exigence is a way of suffering. It's this place where nothing's ever good enough. And you're so obsessive and so controlling, it doesn't matter what you're creating, you can't enjoy it. So it's really just a pathway to suffering. And you might have learned it at school, you might have learned it from your parents. I don't know exactly where yours comes from. You know, you can be born with it too, that focus. And it's just about letting it go in each moment. You know, excellent isn't like that. It's the best in each moment. And it's appreciation. Excellence is like this. It's like, it's straining all the time. And nothing's ever good enough. And it causes drama and fractions and disturbances. And you can't appreciate what you do because there's always a comparison. There's always something better, something bigger, something more. And it's just to see that and realize how unimportant it is. Your beingness is the only thing important. Just to be present, to be enjoying each moment, to be excellent, but for you, challenging yourself to be the best of you. It's a completely different word. Excellence is giving. Exigence is suffering. And that, you know.
Today I received the reflection that I have a resistance to meet myself again. How can I transform this situation?
You know, this is all coming from your head. The truth of who you are is within you. And the system's for that. But you have to let go of your head. You know, your ego just is always holding you on the surface. It wants to know why and how and como over and over and over again. And that's not the way. To evolve, you have to surrender. You have to relax. You have to go in. You have to see what's not real and just let it go. But how do you do that? Well, you have to be inside. You have to be in the moment. You have to be present with yourself. Or else you just fall into robotic behaviours. And you start defining yourself through your limitations or your ideas or your ego. Oh, I'm afraid. Oh, all my life I've been afraid. Oh, I'm not this, I'm not that. All my life I've been like that. And none of it's true. You know, it's the clouds in the sky. They're forever moving and changing. But the sky doesn't change. Consciousness doesn't change. So you have to stop identifying with the form, because the form's changing as well. So if I'm here, if I'm present with myself, if I'm just flowing, if I'm feeling frantic, move my stress, come back into the present moment. But when you meet yourself, there's nothing. You're nothing. Everything's the same. Everything's God. It's just an energy within and without. The I, the you, starts to dissolve. It becomes very unimportant. You won't define yourself through your job, through your role, where you're born, how you look. You won't even define yourself. Because yourself is going to dissolve. And you're just going to be here. In the love. In the consciousness. And when I say here, I mean here. Everywhere. And this is impossible for the head to understand. That's why there's no sense in looking for it here. Because it's not rational. It's totally experiential. It's like a dolphin trying to tell a goldfish what the ocean's like. And all he's ever done is do this. Swim in little circles in a bowl. So how do you discover you? The real you. Just by letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. But from a place of innocence. And with joy. You know, you always look like it's I've got to let go and find my real self. I don't know what you're expecting to find. All you have to see is what's not real. And just keep letting it go. Letting it go. Suffering, letting it go. Image, letting it go. Worrying, letting it go. Letting it go, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Let go of everything. And jump. But enjoy it. Oh, I've got to let go of myself.
I want you to talk about the lie for a just reason, or to hide the truth also for the same reason, or sometimes that you ally with a liar, like a boss that tell them not here, and the boss is there.
You know, you have to get to a point in your life where you trust. You know, you lie because you don't value yourself. You feel like you're going to lose your job, or, you know, you're going to be in problems. So can you be here 100%? Or is your head always there, worrying? And this is the problem with lies. Because you always have to have another lie, and another lie, and another lie to cover the lie. And it's very confusing. Whereas if you're integral, if you're in the moment, if you're speaking your truth, the outside will reflect that. You know, you can justify it in your head. I tell a lie because I don't want to hurt anyone. I tell a lie because I'm afraid. I tell a lie, but it's always the same point, no? You're trying to convince yourself something you know you shouldn't be trying to convince yourself. And as you get into higher levels of consciousness, whenever you abandon yourself, it hurts physically, because truth has an energy. And when you lie, it's like, and it hurts you physically. So the more you step through your fears, the more you speak your truth, you'll have this force. And you'll trust in that force. Because that force will be creating what you need in each moment. It won't be reflecting your fears, your insecurities, your doubts. You understand? So you need to move all this while you're here. And let it go. Just let it go.
My question is about the blind spots we have. And even people that has a lot of consciousness and lots of years in the system can have blind spots. So how can we move through even when we don't see them?
You know, if you're open, especially within this system, the universe will reflect it to you. That's why we call the meetings God on the outside. And to be open. And when you least wish to listen, that's when you really need to listen. Because you can be sure that if there's a resistance, it's the truth. Parts of ourselves we don't want to recognize, we always have a fight. We're always in denial. We can't perceive it. We might see it somewhere else, but we can't see it within ourselves. And usually if we have a very severe judgment or a prejudice, it's an aspect of us. I always say, whatever you judge, you either become or you marry it. And it's true. In my life experience, everything I judged severely became my experience. And this is the point of I am that. How do I love everything? By loving myself, by embracing every aspect within me. When I know myself intimately, I know everything intimately. Because I'm that, having the same experience. And the judgment just falls. It's just Buddha seeing Buddha, God seeing God, love experiencing love within a human experience. You know, I don't see people unenlightened. It's just a veil. It's just a veil. And the veil has to fall. And then the energy penetrates. But blind spots, your universe will tell you. And to be present. And to have the desire to see. You know, we get to a line in the sand and we don't want to go any further. It takes extreme courage to know self intimately, because there's many aspects that we don't want to see, that we don't accept, that we don't love. And we have to love everything and see the perfection within it. You know, it's a human experience. Humans are flawed. Why? Because we have an idea of how they should be. But is it true that they're flawed? No. We're perfectly human. Perfectly human. Living in duality. Perfect, perfect, perfect. But we have to go through this whole process, let go of everything, wake up and say, oh, I never did anything wrong. I was always perfect. There was nothing to get. There was nowhere to go. Da, 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 da. But the ego, it won't accept that. It won't accept it like this. It has to go through a process. It goes through an expansion, internal security, and then this starts to dissolve, starts to lose its power. Oh, then we start to see through the eyes of love. Then we start to see reality. Imagine, it's like you're walking around in a dream. You see the world as you are, separate, flawed, and none of it's true. None of it's true.
I want to ask, how can we do to continue growing in love and consciousness and not get accommodated in an experience that we feel comfortable and trying always being more and more?
You know, I think once you get to a certain level of consciousness, passivity becomes very uncomfortable, especially if your heart's desiring more. And you start to see clearly. You get to a certain point in consciousness and you can't keep doing this because the universe keeps coming and it keeps showing you, look, 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 you're comfortable, you're stuck, you need to evolve. And your nature becomes evolution. It's always been that, but you were never conscious. But once you start to become conscious, you keep evolving. And it's unlimited, the evolution. It's unlimited. Because God's always creating. It's not finite. It's eternal. And you are that. So it's just to be here. And don't even put your attention there. Like even that question. It's like, how am I going to set myself up to fail? Or catch myself failing? And that's why it's so important to enjoy this. Not to suffer it. Like, oh, I've got to keep growing. Oh, I've got to go and unify. Oh, I've got to move stress. You know, when you leave here, or before you leave here, you're going to have such a beautiful experience. And it'll be something very light. Even when you move stress, it's just going to be like this. I don't even recognize who I was. I don't even know who that person was. It was literally a dream that happened to her. And there's no judgment. None. But it's like literally a dream. Last week's a dream. You know, it's about just being here now. Because if you're not identified with the past or what's transpired and you're completely in the moment, it just disappears. It's like the breadcrumbs. You know, there's something walking behind eating them. You don't go back down the same path. It's always this way. This way.
When I need to ask for something, my body reacts and I feel fear. And once you told me that it was only my head, that it was not real anymore, but my body keeps on feeling that fear and reacting. Can you talk about that, please?
You know, it's just a circle. And just keep challenging it. You know, if you see something so clearly, that place where you're not open to receive, just challenge it. You know, when you have fear, you walk through it. And as soon as you walk through, expansion, expansion. On the other side of fear, there's always a greater love. And you have to remember that. And the quicker you challenge your fears, they disappear. Because they're all illusions. You create them here. Oh, I don't know if I should ask. Oh, well, you know, what if they reject me? Oh, yeah, I'm feeling... It's all ego and image. Just push. that was easy. Oh, that was easy. Practice. Oh, that was easy. Oh, that was easy. Oh, that was a no. Oh, well, I do this. Oh, that was easy. That was easy.
Can you talk about the importance of innocence in this process and how it's related with maturity?
You know, this process is completely experiential. You have to do the experience. You can't think your way into consciousness. It doesn't matter what you read, what you listen to. Ultimately, you have to go into you and let go of all your ideas. And that's innocence. Because the head wants to control. It wants to know why and how come. And you said this, but that one said that. And I don't understand. And this person said this, and this happened, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's all external. Innocence has a big yes. And this is when you open your heart and you can receive. I can't touch you until you open. And if you're here, you can't open. If you're innocent, you can open. But of course, that's a process as well. You know, we question things. You know, I had a big advantage. I was completely innocent. I was desperate. I was so open because I didn't want what I had. And I opened so much. And I trusted so much. Even when my head was screaming, it was wrong, da-da-da, da-da-da. I just kept letting go. Because my biggest fear is I'd miss. I'd miss. So I listened to everything like this. And I assumed everyone knew more than me. And I assumed that everything was for me. So where was the protection? It was gone. I didn't have any. None. And I'm a powerful woman. The past woman was the boss. Controlled everything. But I saw where it got me. I saw. And I just said, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to let go. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to open. I'm going to trust. I'm going to do what I'm told. And everything started to fly. But fly. But you have to get to that point. And it's not that I can give you anything. I can just show you what's not real. Same with the teachers. Through their own experience, they can show you what's not real. But you have to take the steps. There's no belief system. I'm not telling you God sits on the third star in heaven and you believe it. I'm telling you, go in and find your own answers.
How can we maintain and continue expanding our experience of love consciousness when we will be in the chaotic world. And how to share our consciousness to the people that don't believe in the system. What is your advice?
Firstly, you have to be the experience. And it will make no difference where you are, because everything's identical. This is an idea. It's about your focus. Are you focused in, or are you focused out? Or are you consciousness in action? This is how you will leave. And because you're consciousness in action, you won't have to tell anyone anything. They'll see it. They won't know what it is, but they'll ask you. They'll say, what's going on with you? Why are you so happy? And that's where you share your experience. And if people don't see it, because they're not open for it. You're open to me, most of you. But I walk through an airport and I'm a common person. Some people will see. Some people will feel. When you're ready, when you're open, the magic starts. Mine started with a waiter. This boy, I looked at him, I said, what are you doing? And it went from there. From that point, my complete life changed. Why? Because I was ready.
Can you talk about the power of creation we have?
You create everything in every moment. Every moment. You are the creator and the creation. If you're asking me how to control that, I cannot tell you, because I teach desirelessness. I don't teach you how to manipulate the illusion. I teach you how to surrender to the illusion, how to trust in it, how to be innocent, how to flow, how to have a desire but without attachment, like a child, and let go, and to trust that what's in front of you is yours. If you're struggling towards something, it's not yours. If what's standing in front of you is complicated, it's a call for evolution. It's time to change. But you need to learn to let go. Because everything is about control. And there's no control. When you let go of the control, that's when the magic begins. That's when it begins. That's where everything starts to come and starts to flow. Why? Because you're open to the unknown. With control, you're only open to what you know. And the universe has a million surprises, beautiful surprises for you. But when you're controlling it, you just end up with a better version of what you had. And it will always lead to the same point. Discontent. Bigger, more, bigger, more. Same point, same point, same point, same point.
Isha, I want to ask you if there are people that we have a certain level of consciousness we keep on creating such hard things to move forward.
My path started when everyone dropped dead. That was pretty hard. But you know, if that hadn't happened, my path wouldn't have started. My path started when I lost everything externally. Everything I loved, everything that gave me security. And it was the greatest thing that happened to me. Because that was big enough and strong enough and hard enough to make me change. Not everyone's that stubborn. Some people, just something small, and they see, and they change. But life's like that. It presents challenges, and in this moment, you're in a very intense healing process. It's a 6-month process of healing so much of your life. So everything's coming at 100 miles an hour. Boom, 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 boom. It makes no sense, because if it made sense, you wouldn't move. You're moving. Because it's coming like this and like this and like this, and it's coming from everywhere. And you're going to let it all go. So it appears hard, but the transformation's going to be phenomenal. Because you've been skipping on the surface. You've been getting the rocks and just throwing them over the lake. And they're going boom, 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 boom. And now they're going boom. And you're like, the rock's taking me under. And that's good. Because you're going to come up for air. And you're going to fly.
Hi, Isha. My question is, can you talk about the energetic power of our heart?
You know, it's the biggest chakra, and it's the biggest mind. It connects us with everything. But it's still illusionary. It's like a portal into that which you're already in. But as a human, you feel the love coming from that part. And that energy starts to unify. That's why I say within and without. Because it is within and without. Initially we think it's within, but it's within and without. So this is a huge portal. It's the house of omniscience. It's the house of God within you and without.
What's the difference in between the presence and the witness?
It's all the same. We sit in the presence to witness. But the presence is in everything. And you're the witness. But it's still God that's the witness. So it's all the same thing. You sit here. With the facets, I'm using them to move energetically now, to open everything up. And then I get you to sit here, to anchor in your heart, and witness the thoughts, the sounds, the human experience, without judgment, without attachment, just watching it. Bird singing, cloud in the sky, truck going past, leaves moving, and just allowing that to move through you, but without a judgment, just to witness the movement of creation. But it's still presence. It's still presence. This is why you have to have the experiences when you're unifying, because intellectually it makes no sense. But I know most of you have had a spark of it, or experiences. The majority of you must have. Or you wouldn't have come here. You didn't come because you didn't feel something. You came because the facets provoke something. Or I provoke something. Or something provokes something. So you know something. You might not have a full experience, but you have a thirst for that experience because you know there's more. Gracias.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.